though, there have been 3,000 episodes of Coast to Coast. Someone worked out that if you joined them all together into one big programme, it would last 2 months. You'll be relieved to hear that they don't make videotapes that long, but we did think it would be a nice idea to make this one last episode. It's a record of 11 years in the life of this region. Sometimes it was good news, sometimes, of course, bad news. I do hope you'll enjoy the Coast to Coast to end them all.
There was no question of Coast to Coast being able to settle in quietly when we came on the air in 1982. Within weeks, Freddie Laker had been forced out of business. Troops from the south sailed off to fight a war 8,000 miles away, and we were waiting for a religious reconciliation in Canterbury. And those of us who joined TVS in the southeast were still waiting for these studios to be built. For 9 months, while a remarkable construction job went on here, we made the programme from some cramped offices above a car exhaust centre in Dover. Today, news reports are shot on videotape. 10 years ago, it was all film, and it had to be processed before it could be used. But 1982 was an amazing year. In January, there were growing rumours that one of the success stories of the South was about to end. The transatlantic airline, founded at Gatwick by Freddie Laker, was near to collapse, brought on by some highly questionable manoeuvres from international rivals. Once the planes were grounded, Mike Debbens went through Laker's duty-free store.
Perhaps the most interesting commodity is this stuff. Freddie Cologne for Minutes, Sir Freddie's own brew, exclusive to my passengers, it says, and on the back, I've always believed in expressing my own individuality. In fact, it's fairly pungent stuff and didn't have the sweet smell of success. It didn't sell at all well, but now it may have a certain novelty value on the market.
In 1982, the scheme for a Channel tunnel was again being revived. We'd heard it all before, of course, so on April the 1st, we got Mike Fuller to put forward this suggestion for one possible scheme.
The Romney Hythe and Dymchurch Railway is the smallest public railway in the country and one of the major tourist attractions in the south. What they now propose is a tunnel and a pipeline just 6 foot 6 inches high from New Romney to Cap Green A. Because the trains would be smaller, the tunnel would only be a third of the size recommended by a common select committee, and the cost would be a fraction of the other Channel Tunnel projects, around £300 million.
But while we were having our April Fool's fun, the Argentinians were landing on the Falklands, and within hours, servicemen predominantly from the south were preparing to sail in the task force, which at that stage we all thought was merely a show of strength.
By now, the crowds are beginning to throng the area, ready for the moment when Invincible slips her mooring ropes and hitches up her skirts for the tugs. The Sally Port, alongside Portsmouth's Round Tower, has down the years provided a vantage point both for the crowds and the seamen as British fleets have set sail. It's here that wives and girlfriends catch the last glimpse of their menfolk.
And as those servicemen did indeed go to war, Kent prepared to welcome a man of peace, Pope John Paul II. The climax of his visit to England was to be a service of friendship in Canterbury Cathedral. Having survived an assassination attempt earlier in the year, he came into Canterbury in this bulletproof Pope-mobile. The majority of people who cheered him through the streets of the city were not members of the Catholic Church, but this was seen as a great symbol of reconciliation more than 4 centuries after the Reformation, and the Archbishop of Canterbury was plainly delighted. During those worrying months, Coast to Coast was also able to establish its keen eye for the offbeat and the plainly bizarre, like the hang-gliding vicar. And then there was the fake shake. The leader of Thanet Council got a friend to dress up as an Arab and pose as a potential developer of Ramsgate Harbour. The idea was to panic Sally Line into making a quick decision to outbid any potential rival. There was soon another leader of the council. Thoughts were seldom far from the Falklands, though, and finally our Antarctic patrol vessel HMS Endurance came home to Chatham Dockyard, soon to be closed. It was a joyous reunion after 10 months away.
What was it like coming through the lock there?
Oh, fantastic. Amazing. We thought we were going to have a good reception, but we didn't realise it was going to be as good as that.
You're a Scotsman, you know how to celebrate. What's going to happen tonight?
Well, I'm going to get very drunk.
And at the end of the year, there was another sadder homecoming. Stephen Dixon, the youngest soldier to die in the Falklands, was buried in his hometown of Basildon. This was how I reported the funeral. Stephen Dixon's family were always determined that his body was going to be brought home. The government tried to persuade the relatives of those who fell in the Falklands conflict that traditionally